Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to the continuation of my series, Celebrity Natal Charts. And today we are looking at Drew Barrymore's natal chart because she is a Pisces sun, as everybody in this series thus far is a Pisces, because I could not find one Pisces that was um, that I did not want to leave out of the series. And so she has a rising Gemini. So she has Gemini in the first house. Let me look at one or two natal charts first before I start. But that's kind of like the idea behind this series, is that these are all like fresh takes on charts that I've never read before, and positions that I've never read before, and intuition and clarity on people that I've never really um, have experienced. Okay, so with Drew Barrymore. So, like I said, she has a rising Gemini. This means she's a great speaker, probably a lot better than me. And, she has a talk show. She was a child actor from a young age. I don't know if it's her mother that's a Barrymore or her father that's a Barrymore, but her accent or the way that she speaks, I guess, comes from her father's side of the family. I'm sure also in a later video about somebody else, I will have that correct information. Um, but this also having, clairvoyance or psychic intuition also is where ignorance comes in handy because I don't have prior information. And in her second house of her priorities and her resources, she has the sign of Cancer. Also, the moon and Saturn. So it's her emotions cause her to have limitations financially. Like if she could just kind of shake things off and be happy, she'd have a little bit more financial freedom. Which I'm sure she has plenty of financial freedom, but it could be more. And her third house of Leo, so she like talks to famous people or talks about famous people. If someone were to have done a natal chart reading for her when she was a child, they probably would have seen that she would have some type of like celebrity talk show years ago. And in her fourth house of Virgo. So it says that so in the Akashic records, Virgo is like Mr. Neat and Tidy. Um, actually, so from the Disney cartoon, like Winnie the Pooh would be like the rabbit, like the kind of like OCD character. But I've noticed that Virgos do tend to enjoy nice and clean things, as everyone does, as those things are nice. But they tend to be like very messy themselves. Is my whole beef with Virgo, and but so that's to say the fourth house in Virgo, she's supposed to be like very neat and clean. But I just thought that was very interesting because I had that connection. And in her lunar astrology or Chinese astrology, she's a wood rabbit, which is like rabbit from Winnie the Pooh. And, we're all adults here. We can talk about children's things. And it's just so funny because I was talking about lunar astrology and Chinese astrology and thinking once again about Flavor Flav's natal chart. And his lunar astrology, he is a like an earth pig. And I was like, they really need to like figure something out with that because none of these signs sound very flattering. But what they say in Chinese astrology is that the more unflattering your sign is, the more auspicious or lucky that sign is for you. Okay, so then in her fifth house, of which I always say is the house of obstacles, or I like to say sexy distractions and detours, where we also have Pluto as well in Libra. So there could be a lot of like emotional turmoil around relationships for her, people that she's dated in the past, people that have like passed away that she has dated, kind of stop her from moving forward with a lot of her plans and executing and following through with things. Like Pluto, like it's in the tarot, it's the Death card. Um, the executioner, but it also is someone who's like executing plans and taking care of business. Um, And she also has Uranus in the fifth house as well. So there are a lot of like boundless limitations with her dating potential, most likely, or people that she could hook up with. So that is a like there's a lot of freedom there, but also limitations that are created through like the immensity of its freedom. Um, and like she doesn't really have to settle for anybody. And then, so how to overcome this obstacle of overwhelming options or lack of limitations? We have the sixth house in Scorpio, and also her North Node and Neptune. So Neptune, I always say, is like a TV antenna, especially like that's me remembering everybody's glyph. But also Uranus kind of looks like a TV antenna too. It's more like a fork, I guess, like a Triton. But Neptune and her North Node in Scorpio, so it is kind of like her destiny to be talking about um, spirituality in television and movies, or through some type of device that casts illusions. And I think she's done that from a very young age. And her seventh house is Sagittarius. So when it comes to like quick relationships or not long term relationships, friendships, and love and business and otherwise, Sagittarius is a good match for her in that position. It's also her opposite, so they might not see eye to eye on a lot of things. And in her eighth house of Capricorn, where she also has the planet of Mars, um, this says to me that a lot of her like psychic supernatural abilities she uses like towards like climbing the ladder through business, which is like it reminds me of my own personal story of where I would always use astrology and manifestation and moon magic and things like this to like hook up or like for hoeing purposes. And so I was like, what if I stopped using my manifestation powers for being a hoe, and I used it for like business or like work or something, as I was able to accurately predict like the next sign that I was gonna date, or like what T-shirt or colors to wear that would attract what type of sign or what type of romantic partner. I was like, what if I use that same um, mode of thinking for business? And that's something that I think she does very aggressively. Like so maybe like everything she thinks about or wears is planned out as like how that could benefit her career and yada yada. Career, Capricorn, achievement, promotion, how to get up that hill. Uh, and then in her ninth house of Aquarius, so her higher education is like she learned a lot of things from her friends. Goes on a lot of trips with her friends. We got Mercury in her ninth house as well. So it's more like um, she might have been born or taught about the Akashic records at once again like a very young age. So she might have had a very clear sense of like her future. And with her 10th house being in Pisces, Pisces Sun, Pisces Jupiter, she's like very lucky and fortunate to have been born with a lot of spiritual knowledge early on. And I think also we have like Venus here as well, so like law of attraction, um, just just Pisces being Pisces, and it's so funny too, like how the looking through the chart and how the rising sign will affirm very stereotypical, almost yeah, stereotypical traits of Pisces, the Pisces sun that they already have. So it's like her destiny, and it's so in this position in the 10th house, but then also in her um, sixth house of Scorpio, it's like it's her destiny to be talking about astrology and spirituality on a large, expanding level that of like television or some other device that uh, projects illusions, with like Jupiter there and her sun as well. Um, and like the law of attraction. And I guess I mean, I don't watch her show a lot, other than like really like clips so much. But I think that in her heart, there's more of like a Ricky Lake, um, altruistic uh, energy about her that she's not really able to express, and a lot of like inauthenticity for the sake of May sweeps and ratings that is causing limitations, just in my own observation outside of her chart. But as we move into her 11th house of Aries, which is also have Chiron here. So this is like saying to me that, you know, Chiron and Aries in the 11th house, it's like she has no ability to control the anger that her friends or colleagues may feel towards her. Um, but she's able to put out fires for other people like very effortlessly. Whereas like a lot of other people like just kind of have their own very strong opinions about her. And in her 12th house of Taurus, so as I always say, the 12th house is the house of misery. But we are all, well, not all Pisces, but in the series thus far, all the people that I'm analyzing are Pisces, and we sort of like to be miserable. So it's like focusing on money and achievement sort of makes her miserable. People born in the sign of Taurus sort of embarrass her. Um, like I said, in a sense, like, if you invite your mother to a dinner party, they might tell like an embarrassing story about you from your childhood or call you a nickname that you would prefer not to be called by. And Taurus sort of do that to her. And she sees that as like an extreme setback. Uh, but the thing is, to these people that we're analyzing are extremely powerful, as they are Pisces. So it's like in certain ways too, the sign that she makes miserable is Taurus. So there might be a friend or rival or enemy of hers that is a Taurus or rising Taurus, who feels like her achievements are not uh, on the same level or deserving, or she's like more deserving than her, and they make them miserable. Yeah, so. Okay. So that's what I see in analyzing Drew Barrymore's natal chart. And maybe I'll do a continuation. So here's like the thing about the continuation. Like maybe I'll do a continuation of these same people, where it's like I more so analyze the planets versus their rising sign and houses, and like how the second sort of reading would go if you were to book like two natal chart readings, like one in 1 month and one in another month. Or I think I will maybe move on to like Aquarian, and thus further zodiac signs, but we'll see how I feel about that then. But thank you so much for listening. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and sharing. I will be feeling your energy in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.